This is the second entry in my Football Manager 15 Crystal Palace Dynasty. Well, hopefully it's a dynasty, but if I screw this up bad enough, it may be a I don't know, Crew Alexandria dynasty after I get fired. In the last entry, I did a written Let's Play. This time around, I'm going to try and do a video type thing, and we'll see how it goes. Also, with the last entry, I introduced my team. I I showed everyone kind of why I chose Crystal Palace, and I showed some of the strengths that the team has as well, especially up front with Zaha and Chamak and some of the other guys. I think I have a good setup here, and hopefully we can get something started. All right, so for this episode, I really wanted to get into choosing a tactic as well as just what to look forward to for the upcoming season 2014-2015. I am I'm predicted to go 19th out of 20 teams in the Premier League, and hopefully I can starve off relegation and maybe even pull off something with going mid-table. Okay, so the first thing I want to do was set up a tactic, and I did a lot of research into this. I didn't want to bore everyone to death and show every tactic that I looked at and the pros and cons of everything. I wanted to find a tactic. I don't know enough about the game to create my own tactics yet, but I wanted to find a tactic online. The Steam Workshop has a bunch of wonderful ones, and I wanted to find one that focused mainly on attack. Like for me to succeed, and by succeed I mean not be relegated, I really am going to have to play at a high up-tempo pace and score a lot of goals. I don't think that I have the talent and the back end to compete with a lot of teams in the Premier League. I'm basically just going to have to have a tactic which allows me to score 3 or 4 goals a game and hope that I don't let up that many. So, like I said, I'll spare everyone the boring, monotonous looking for a tactic thing. I found one online called Next Play 6 Shark, and it's a 4-3-3 with 2 wingers and 1 striker up front. I mentioned in my last episode that Chamak will be my striker no matter what. I'm not a fan of Fraser Campbell. Zaha will play one of the wings, I'm sure. And then I do like the players that I have in the midfield, especially with Johnny Williams being a young 20-year-old. I think that he has room to improve. James MacArthur is a solid player as well. I have Who else do I have there? I can't remember Myler. Oh, I'm on my U21s, that's why. Oh yeah, Miles Jednak, the Australian sensation. He should be a good player for me as well. The three of them in the midfield, I believe, can cause a lot of trouble for teams in the future. So back to my tactic. Uh, I'm gonna have the assistant coach fill out the team for now, and then I can get into what each position their role is on the field. Obviously, they already screwed up. They put Fraser Campbell in. I'll switch that really quick. Um, Jordan Much is a good player. MacArthur, Johnny Williams. I actually like. Jedinak more than I like MacArthur at that position. We have Joel Ward, and I believe I was going to use Sue Ray instead of Kelly. I was going to use Sue Ray at the left back, and then Ward at right. There we go. This will give me room to use Kelly as a backup or a sub in case Sue Ray struggles or one of the guys get tired. Yeah, this is generally the starting 11 that I want to go with. Oh, I also want to use Speroni instead of Hennessy. Speroni was the best player for Crystal Palace last season in real life, and I'm definitely going to have to rely on him quite a bit if I want to have any success this season. He's up there in age. This may be his only season that I use him, depending on his contract. Actually, we can look at his contract. It expires 2015 in June, so we're in 2014 in July. He'll have a 1-year contract, and I think I'll look for someone else. Alright, so the actual tactic itself. So the striker position plays more of a complete forward position. And as you'll see here, the complete forward possesses all the technical abilities. It seems that it focuses in not only just on finishing, but being a support player as well. And Chamak is a pretty good passer. It seems that his finishing rating isn't as good as I thought it would be. But I have no doubt that Chamak will fill the role well. Yannick Blaise is my other winger. I think that he plays the position perfectly. He's a perfect winger. He's got great dribbling and crossing abilities, as you can see. Zaha obviously will be the star of the team. He has some room to work with as far as his passing and his first touch goes. And I think that when we go to training a player, that I'm going to focus in on his passing abilities. In the midfield, this tactic has a central midfielder position that it's kind of an all-encompassing position where he's required to get back, he's required to be a good passer. He's not necessarily going to be the type of guy that's taking a lot of shots, but Jedinak a perfect fit for that position. He's up there in age, but he's played a lot of very high level competitive soccer, and I think he'll fill the role really well. I'll have to work on his passing ability, but I think the rest of it will fall into place. This tactic really focuses in on the two attacking midfielders on each side of the central midfielder here. And these two positions are going to be the guys that are taking a lot of the shots. And these two, Jordan Much, a young player, he's only 22 years old. He's been around and really hasn't landed anywhere for any period of time, but I have high hopes for him, and I plan on keeping him around for the future for some time. And the other one is Johnny Williams, who I believe is only 20, and he hasn't been around too much. He's played for Palace for some time, and I want to keep him around. I think those two, along with Zaha and Blaise is younger too. Okay, 25. I believe that those guys will be something to build off for the future. The center backs are traditional center backs. Scott Dan and Mariappa are both good players for that. It's they're, as you can see, like the suitability for their role and duty, that they're not on par with some of the other players on the team, and that's why I do want to go with an all-out attack type of tactic here, rather than hope that I can defend. You know, when you're going up against some of the stronger teams in the division, Manchester United, Man City, uh, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to stop those guys. So the idea is to just score and keep scoring. With the transfer budget that I have, I'm really not going to be able to do anything either with upgrading these positions until my debt is paid off. So, I mean, Scott Dan and Mariappa, well, they're serviceable, but at some point in the future, I do want to upgrade them. On the wings, I talked about this in my last episode, that Sure and Joel Ward are both young players. Sure's a little bit younger, and as you can see, he doesn't have a very good rating right now, but our assistant coaches believe that he can improve quite a bit, at least to 3.5 stars. And the interesting thing about this tactic that I've seen not a lot of tactics use is the inverted wing back. And the inverted wing back, it's primarily a wing back, but instead of adding to the flanks, the inverted wing back, if he has room, he'll cut back towards the middle of the field to make something happen. I can only really think of one or two players out there that actually play like this. When Philip Lahm is on the wing, he plays like this, and I like the idea of this. I think that a lot of my attack is going to be generated through the middle, and I want these guys to be able to add on to that. So the inverted wing back fits nicely. And with both these players being younger, with training, I believe that I can mold them into this type of player. Obviously, they won't be Philip Lahm caliber, but I do think that in 2 or 3 seasons, I can really make them into that type of player. So that's pretty much it for my tactic. This is what it looks like over here on the pitch with the wingers and Jamak up front. I think that I have enough talent up front to at least get out of the relegation zone. Obviously, injuries and other things will have a lot to do with whether I'm able to succeed or not. Um, and the rest of this episode, I really just kind of wanted to look at a preview for the season. I've seen a lot of video blogs and Twitch accounts for Football Manager that are really, really dry, and I kind of wanted to get away from the idea. I saw one where a guy goes, okay, this is my Crystal Palace transfers update. Yaya Sanogo is on loan from Arsenal. Lewis Price was loaned to Crawley. Peter Ramage was loaned to... Like, that's boring. Nobody wants to... I turned it off right away. I just wanted to give the highlights, a before the season type preview and an after the season review. And I think that's a good way to go. So, yeah, for a preview, I've covered basically everything with just the tactic that I plan to use. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to add on to it. I do want to specialize my players into their role, especially with their training, that I don't want to move from tactic to tactic and I really want them to focus in on this tactic and be good at this tactic and build on it for future seasons. Um, my schedule, it's the Premier League. I'm gonna face a lot of really good talent and some of the best talent out there for sure, and just hope to survive. There's nothing special about it. I play some friendlies against some teams, and I play Chivas, which doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate the feedback that I've gotten on the past one, and hopefully this one generates much of the same. So hopefully the next time that I do a blog entry, it will be a season in review, and I'll be talking about how I was able to do mid-table and with this amazing tactic. I don't think that'll be the case, but we'll see. Yeah, thanks again for tuning.